Welcome to this week's episode of the Modern Mentor Podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Cooke. Today's episode is all about how to be a superstar when joining a new team. You're new and you want to contribute, but you've got a lot to learn. How do you manage that balancing act? Want to guess how many jobs you're likely to have in your lifetime? According to a 2019 survey conducted by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it's 12. Changing jobs can bring about a tremendous blend of feelings. For me, it was always exciting, a sense of a fresh start and a new opportunity to deliver and impress. But also, there is the anxiety. What if I'm not a fit? What if they don't like me? What if no one picks me for the kickball team? Occasionally, my elementary school nightmares would seep into my grown-up misgivings. If a job change is on the horizon for you, then let's talk about some strategies that will help you stand out as a new member of a team. First, start with relationships. Starting a new job can leave you feeling like you're drinking from a fire hose. A ton of information will be coming at you, likely well more than you're able to absorb and recall at first. But don't panic. The most valuable thing you can do in your first 90 days in a new job is to focus on relationships over facts and data. Start by making connections with your new team members, in groups and also one-on-one. Strong relationships with your team members will set you up for success. When you have questions, you need to seek collaboration, or you want advice on a sticky situation, having trusting relationships will become your secret sauce. So start by just connecting with people and focus on building trust. Share what you're willing to share about yourself and learn about each of them as you go. Next, focus on learning the unwritten. Many organizations have written documentation designed to tell you how things work. Between your company website, an employee handbook, and the Employee Policy Center on the intranet, there will be no shortage of official information on how things get done. But if this isn't your first rodeo, then you know how important it is to learn the unwritten rules of getting things done. Who are the gatekeepers? What are your boss's pet peeves? What are the cultural norms of meetings? Slides or no slides? Many of these questions won't be answered right away, and certainly you won't find them in a handbook. Clarity and understanding will come to you with time. But in your early days, it's a good idea to have your antenna up. Start watching the dynamics of how things play out. As you build trust with your teammates, test your assumptions with them. Invite them to help you make sense of what you're seeing. This rulebook, the Book of the Unwritten, will be a great asset to you over time. Next, observe with curiosity. You show up on day one and you can't wait to make an impact. After all, they hired you for the energy, ideas, and go-getter attitude you put on display during your interview. But here's where patience becomes your virtue. In my own business, when a client hires me to design an organization or facilitate an important conversation, they expect me to deliver value and expertise. But I never offer a recommendation without a deep understanding of the current state. I ask lots of questions about what's working well, where their strengths are, and what we must preserve throughout our engagement. It's always more efficient to build success upon a foundation of what's already working, to meet a team where they are. Don't reinvent the wheel, use your assets. This same principle applies to you. To have a real impact on a team or organization, it's important that you begin by watching, asking, and listening. Understand what their priorities are, what's been working well, and where there may be low-hanging fruit. Next, find early wins. Listening may well highlight opportunities to score a win. Look for a niggling pain point or inconvenience. Can you spot something that you could easily fix, streamline, or enhance? It doesn't have to be something in your official job scope. Just make someone's life a little easier. The impact will pay off in spades. In a previous job, I joined an HR team as a new talent management system was being implemented. My team was being flooded with questions coming from the business, and staying on top of those responses was commanding a lot of our time and focus. So I put together a quick FAQ document, frequently asked questions, which could be posted to an intranet and updated regularly. My boss looked at me as if I had offered to massage her feet while feeding her grapes. That FAQ took me 2 hours to build, and it saved us many times that. Where can you find an opportunity to make something simpler and earn yourself a bit of social capital? Next, use the phrase used to sparingly. I have an old and beloved tank top from my college days at Cornell. It's been relegated to exercise wear, and whenever I used to wear it to the gym, one of the trainers would always laugh at me. He told me it reminded him of Andy from The Office, who would always talk about his days at Cornell. Like Andy, I'm proud of having attended Cornell, and I learned things there that I've carried with me. And yes, I wear the tank. But I don't refer to it excessively, because only really annoying sitcom characters do this. The same applies when you're starting a new job. Hopefully you're proud of having been part of your previous company. You experienced and learned a lot, and you want to apply those insights to your new world of work. So do it, but just don't be an Andy. Your new colleagues don't want to feel like you're trying to turn them into your prior team. So instead of saying, well, at my last company we used to, try something like, hey, I've seen other teams do this thing successfully, when you're wanting to harness your past experience. And finally, set boundaries early. You know what's harder than setting boundaries? Resetting boundaries. You want to be seen early as a hero. But if you do this by taking on more than you can manage and then overworking yourself to keep up, you're headed for burnout. Decide who you want to be in the long run, how, when, and where you'd like to work, and manage those boundaries early. As long as you're focused, listening, connecting, and finding small wins, you'll be noted for your contributions instead of your undying commitment to work at all hours. And isn't that really the goal here? So whether that new job is lined up, on the horizon, or just a twinkle in your eye, I deem you officially prepared to quickly become a mission-critical member of your new team. Have a question I can answer? Check out all the links in my bio for ways you can reach me. You can visit my website at leadabovenoise.com or follow me on the Modern Mentor podcast page on LinkedIn, where I share exclusive tips, videos, and musings. Join me next week for an episode on how to measure your life. Until then, thanks so much for listening and have a successful week.